All right. We are back with another edition of the Leo G Show. I am Leo G. It has been a minute, man. But life happens, things go on. But we decided, hey, I got to get this show back on the road, man. I got to get the people what they want, man. So Leo G is back, and I am back with the two people that I love to feature, and the two featured people on this show. It's a permanent. They're permanent fixtures now. So shout out, as always, my man right over there, Banks. What's going on with you, brother?
What up, Leo G? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I know you over there feeling pretty good, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Rocking the
absolutely.
ATL. So we both rocking the ATL, man, because I already know what time it is. We're gonna get into it in just a minute. And, as always, we want to pass it over to my man. What Banks?
What's up?
Are we missing somebody?
Yes, we are missing somebody. Leo, what gives?
I don't know. Well, looks like we missing my main man, Derrico, man. Shout out to Derrico, man. I guess, you know what I'm saying? Schedule wasn't permitting. He couldn't fire it up, man. But look, we had to get back on schedule, man. We had to fire it back up, man. So, Banks, I'm glad you could jump on this thing, man, and we could do it because it's one of our favorite times of the year, man. It's time to crank this NFL. It's time to crank football back up, period, man. It's time to crank up high school, time to crank up college, time to crank up NFL, Canadian League, all that Pop Warner, everything, man. If football season's back, it's always a good thing, man. In the fall, man, we're here for it. I'm definitely here for it. What about you, brother?
Absolutely, bro. I just can't wait, man. It's not just football, man. It's just the fall season, bro. I'm over the summer. I'm a hot nature guy. I hate being hot. And bring on the cool weather, brother. I love cold weather. Just let's go. Football comes with it,
Yeah, man.
makes it even better.
Even though in Georgia it don't get cool till about the middle of December, so we had 80-degree days up until like December 18th. Man, I remember a couple of years ago, man, on Christmas Day it was like the high was 85. But
Yeah, yeah. I
it, it
remember
is
that.
it is it is what it is here in Georgia, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, Banks, man. A little cooler weather, man, because it's been hot, man. A lot of stuff been going on. So look, man, this is episode 44, I believe it is. It's been a minute since we've dropped the episode, but unfortunately, man, we still living in some crazy times, man. Got the Delta variant of that COVID thing running around, man. Still advocating for people, if you hadn't already gotten vaccinated, man, I would say do it or do some research, consider it, man. But it's getting crazy out here, man. It's cranking back up like it was in 2020, Banks, man. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, like you coined your phrase, we was living in Covidia, and this is we are at times where we feel like, man, this thing ain't going anywhere, man. We just gotta live with it, and
We're gonna have to get through it.
yeah,
We're gonna have to get through it, I guess, man. Like I said, man, get vaccinated if you're on the fence, man. At least do some research about the vaccine, man. These hospitals are getting overwhelmed again. Shout out to all of the frontline workers, our nurses, our doctors, emergency room staff, hospitals, man. They've been putting in extra work, man, and they've been overwhelmed again, man. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to them because they putting in work, man, to make sure what I'm saying, they take care of people, man, and get them back to health, man. But this is really a big crisis, and we need to get through it. And like you said, this is probably gonna be something that we're gonna have to deal with for quite some time. But anyway, moving forward, Banks, like I said, man, we in the football season, man, and already, we still on YouTube. We still rocking the YouTube channel, and you already know, man. Both of us are rocking, the ATL joints. It's no, you see it. It's ATL, man. We rocking it already, man, because it's about to start up. Banks in the gradient red. I'm in the all black. All black. That's what we do. Now, we'll have a conversation about that in a minute with the uniform schedule that came out today and how you feel about the all black uniforms. But Banks, man, are you ready, man? Preseason is finally over, man, and we are almost a week away, man, from the regular season here coming up, man. Are you ready?
I am ecstatic, and yes, Leo, I am ready. Let's kick it off. Let's go.
All right, man. Hey, it's coming pretty soon, man. First home game for our Atlanta Falcons. We'll talk about our Atlanta Falcons because that's what we do. We talk about the home team. Um, September 12th in Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Eagles. First game. of the season. So let's talk a little bit about preseason, Banks, because me and you've had some conversations off air, and I wanted to get this out on the podcast and talk about the preseason, man, because you and I have had kind of some mixed feelings about the preseason and how it was handled, or whatever they decide, whatever they did, man. But we're gonna get right into it, man. So preseason, so we went from what we were used to last year, of course, 2020. We didn't have a preseason at all. No preseason because we were right smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. They decided not to have a preseason. I think that that was the right thing to do. But previously, before 2020, we were doing 4 games in the preseason. Now we come to 2021, we cut it down to 3 preseason games. But on the upside, we go to 17 regular season games. So Banks, first of all, man, I'm gonna get your thoughts on how you feel about 3 preseason games as opposed to 4 preseason games that we've been doing.
Well, for me, Leo, I think three is still too many. I feel like who, in the grand scheme of things, like who's gonna be the guys that's gonna carry the 53-man roster. You know that in training camp. Preseason is for the guys that's on the bubble. I looked at it, as preseason is a glorified scrimmage. For a lot of teams. A lot of teams can care less if they play their starters or not. I mean, it's not it's a game situation, but it's a game that is really a waste of time for the starters of the guys that's going to actually play the game for all 17 games. But that's just my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean, well, we'll get into it here in just a minute, Banks, because you and I talked about something here. But for me, preseason is preseason. Like you just said, I kind of agree with what you said. Um, Getting guys acclimated, like your rookies, your undrafted free agents, getting them kind of acclimated to quote unquote the NFL is for them actually, and veterans. If you've been doing it 4, 5, 6, 17 years, man, it's really not, it's the same thing. I mean, preseason is really not going to get you ready and prepared for regular season matchups. With that being said, Bank, so new coach Arthur Smith comes in. We have a whole brand new system, brand new coaching staff, brand new defense. Dean Pease is over the defense now here in Atlanta. Went through the 3-game preseason, and Banks, there, most of our starters, our veteran starters, did not play the preseason. And I'm talking about guys like, Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, Calvin Ridley, Caleb McGarity, Jake Matthews. Well, I think Caleb McGarity did play this last game, if I'm not mistaken, against Cleveland. But the core people, Steven Means, I don't think suited up. Some of the core guys that are veterans, that are starters, did not suit up for any of the preseason games. Of course, obviously, Matt Ryan didn't suit. Well, he suited up for the last game, but he did not go in and play. So, Banks, with that being said, I'm gonna give you my spiel on that, and then I'm gonna let you go ahead and tell the people how you feel about it. I don't think starters or veterans have anything to prove. New coach, new system, either way. You're a veteran in this league. You're a starter in this league. If you've been in this league 4 or 5 years, I don't think there's anything to prove. Yes, it happy new scheme, timing, all of that stuff actually matters. But when you've been in this league and you know what to expect, even though is a new system in place and there are new schemes and stuff in place, I think that you should be ready to go day one. You're a professional. You know what to expect and you should know what to do. I mean, you're in training camp. The system has been implemented. I don't think game time reps in preseason really mean a lot. Especially coming from somebody like a Matt Ryan that's been in the league for 16 years. I want to say he's going on 13 years, 14 years. I can't keep up. He's been
It's
in the league for quite
14.
some time.
It's
14
14.
years.
Yeah.
He's been through 3 or 4 different coordinators. He knows the game. I think that, preseason reps they're not warranted, in my opinion. I think preseason is for, like you said, Banks, those guys who are on the bubble, those late round draft picks, those undrafted free agents, to go out there and get a look and let the coaching staff and the team feel like, okay, who do we keep? Who do we need to put in the depth position? And also that giving them their due diligence by getting them some film out there if we do let them go, other teams might be able to evaluate these guys and pick them up off the waiver wire. Banks, do you feel the same way, or do you feel differently about this?
Well, I think we discussed this before is that, I had my concerns, in this particular preseason with a brand new regime, a brand new head coach, brand new philosophy. Um, I wanted to at least see if Matt Ryan was comfortable. He's had so many different offensive coordinators, so many play callers calling the shots for him in his tenure in the Atlanta Falcons. I would wanted him to have some kind of game time simulation of this offense to get him, I guess some kind of continuity. But none of the starters played, and it's like, well, I guess week one is our first preseason game for these guys. I mean, I really wanted them to try to show that they were adjusting to a brand new system on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So it's going to be a learning curve, a growing pains, whatever you want to say, whatever cliche it is for this team this year. I'm hoping that in practice that they grasp the offense and they will be clicking on all cylinders by week one.
I mean, I think, practice, when you go into training camp, and then also not, and I forgot to mention that we had a preseason game against the Miami Dolphins, and they did go down there for about a week in scrimmage with the Miami Dolphins down there. I had to mention that. I think that they had a lot of time to get this system implemented, and I think they got a lot of reps in practice, and I think they got some reps in during scrimmage in Miami. I don't think it's that important. I don't think it's that important for Matt Ryan and those veteran guys to get reps in the preseason, because let's be realistic, Banks. Let's be real. Preseason is not what you're going to see. What you saw in the preseason is not what you're going to see week one. You're not going to see that. Like I said, we had this conversation. Nobody schemes for preseason. Nobody says, okay, you know what? This is what we're going to come out and do. This is what we know they want to do. This is what we're going to try to neutralize this, that, and the third. They're not going to. They're not going to do that. They're going to come out. They're going to run plays. They're going to basically, like I said, get guys looks. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to pretty much put together a whole package to scheme for a team in order to try to, you want to win. Anytime you suit up, you want to win. But in the preseason, it's nothing. The work that the coaching staff puts in implementing things does not go, I think, in my opinion, into these preseason games. So I don't think that these guys have anything to prove.
Yeah. I was looking at it as the the brand new vision of it all. I don't know anything about Arthur Smith besides the fact that he was in Tennessee, and he basically turned that offense around for the most part with Hasselbeck and oh god, his name escapes me. The running back, Henry, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, yeah.
Yeah, and it was a phenomenal turnaround from that Tennessee Titans team. Um, I don't know if he's going to bring that same. Maybe it's going to take some time for us to have a similar offense like Tennessee. I mean, I don't know if you saw just before we went on air that we cut on Quadri Allison. So, we're down to running back. So I don't know. I mean, it remains to be seen. We'll see. I'm
I
not.
mean, yeah. We shall see what they're able to do and what they're able to accomplish it with what they have. I mean, I'm pretty excited. I mean, just for a new regime, period. I mean, going through what we went through the last couple of years with the old regime, man, and just how disappointing it was, man. I think I am excited for the fresh start, man. So, preseason is over. We did get to see some looks from some guys. And I was impressed. We did get to see Kyle Pitts catch a pass in the last preseason game and take it for about 27 yards. You saw the athleticism. You saw what he was able to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing him, just have a breakout rookie season. So, Banks, I want to talk to you a little bit about Kyle Pitts. I know we didn't really put it into the outline, but I want to talk to you a little bit about Kyle Pitts. And I know there are people that have put a lot of expectations on this kid, and we talked about this even going back all the way to the draft. Um, this is the highest draft pick ever picked in the history of the NFL. This kid is, we already know he's 6'5", wingspan, the speed, everything, all the things that he can bring to the table. Banks, I want you to give me your full opinion and as to how you think this rookie season will be with Kyle Pitts. I mean, I don't hold anything back. I want you to give me your full and honest opinion because, like I said, there's been a lot of expectations put on this young man, but I want you to tell me in your own words and how you feel about what's going to happen with him in this rookie season, man.
At the end of the day, Leo, and I hate to be this guy, but he's a rookie. He came in, before he even took a snap in this league. They labeled him the unicorn, and oh my gosh, you see what he did in college. Listen, college and NFL is two different things, okay? If you think you're going to come in the NFL, in this NFL, and do what you did in college in Florida, yeah, someone's waiting on you, brother. I think he'll have a good career, but to come in his rookie year and set it on fire, I'm going to have to pull reservation on that. I'm really thinking that the whole fan base, are up in arms. The fact that we lost Julio and they're putting so much this pressure on Kyle Pitts to be that next dude. And sadly, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to do it. Not this year. I mean, he'll catch his fair share of catches and touchdowns, whatever, but it ain't going to wow anybody. It ain't going to just be like, oh my gosh, rookie of the year, sign him up. I think his whole coming into this league was it's just all over the top for me. He's
Well,
a tight end. He's
I
long.
dis I dis I disagree. I disagree, Banks. I think that this kid, given Arthur Smith's position and given the type of talent that he is, I think he is primed to have a great rookie season. And the reason I say that is because athletically, man, what he brings to the table. And everybody has made the comparisons to, another, well, they played kind of two different positions, but everybody made the comparison with him to Calvin Johnson. Right, we've seen all the comparisons between Kyle Pitts and Calvin Johnson, Megatron, and Megatron. His rookie year, he had a great. I didn't look up all the numbers, but he had a very very decent rookie year. I mean, for what it's worth, he was a game changing wide receiver for Detroit coming out of Georgia Tech his first year with the Lions. And I think that Kyle Pitts is going to present a lot of problems matchup wise with a lot of with different teams. And I mean, the reason I say that is because there aren't many teams in the NFL that have personnel on the defense that can cover somebody like this. You got to understand. You want to say, hey, okay, you know what? Double this guy, triple this guy, whatever you want to do. If you take him out of the game plan, that means he's still doing his job because somebody else is going to eat. So, his receptions, his yardage, and his touchdowns might not be as much as people want to think they'll be. But at the same time, if you put him out there on the field and you look at from a defensive standpoint, if you see 2 and 3 guys following him around, if you see him getting a lot of attention from defenses, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. And I think that this guy is really going to go out and shock a lot of people and be able to do some things. I watched his tape at Florida, just the one small sample size of the drag route that he ran in the Cleveland game when he came across and got the ball, and I saw him just take. And if you notice, Banks, I don't know if you watched that play, but he slipped. When he caught the ball, he actually kind of slipped. He didn't really get a full running start. He kind of slipped a couple of steps as he took up the sideline. Could you imagine if you got a full running start right up that damn sideline, man? He might still be running right now. So that's how I feel about Kyle Pitts, man. I feel as though he is going to have a good rookie season based upon the fact of his physical attributes and what he's able to do, whether it's catching the ball or attracting a lot of attention from the defense. Arthur Smith should be able to use that to his advantage and be able to exploit a lot of different things in these defenses, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm not. I want the kid to succeed, but I just thought all the hype and all the this guy here, this tight end has never been drafted this high in the NFL history. I think it. I hope it doesn't go to his head. I hope he stays humble. You're again, like I said before, you're still a rookie. You know what I'm saying? You still got lots to learn. You know, you're not gonna come in into this league and just be the man, just off the rip. You know what I'm saying? It's
And
gonna
I
take
don't
some
think I don't
time. You know,
and I don't think he has that type of head on his shoulders, Banks. I think the kid is pretty humble, in my opinion. I don't think he has that type of attitude. I think he's a hardworking kid. To me, it appears, and I haven't seen too much out of him. He seems to be a blue collar type kid. Seems to be a bring his lunchbox to work type of kid that's gonna come out there and work. From what I'm hearing and from what I'm understanding, 200 balls after practice on the jugs machine. Really, really working extensively in the classroom and getting to know the playbook, man. When you hear stuff like 200 balls after practice on the jugs machine, it brings me back to another great tight end we had here in this city, dude by the name of Tony Gonzalez, who had a great work ethic. So he's doing all of the right things right now, in my opinion, to set him up to have a great season. So we'll see. Very soft spoken kid, man. And so we'll see. What's up, Banks?
let me ask you a question about that. Do you feel that the departure of Julio, that a lot of the people, especially in this city, is looking at Kyle Pitts as the next guy, you know what I'm saying, and hoping that we can pick up where we left off with Julio. And with that said, do you think that's too much to ask for that kid? Is it fair for him to come in, mind you, a brand new team, his first NFL start, first season, brand new coach, brand new everything, but you want him to be what Julio was? And I mean, I just really feel like that's a lot on his plate right now.
That's not fair. That's not fair to him. I will say this much, man. Some of these Julio fanboys, man, they need to give it up, man. Julio's gone. He's in Tennessee. And I wish him well, man. One of the all-time great Falcons. Like I said, when it's all said and done, man, if this dude goes to Canton, it will be in the Atlanta red and black for what he did here. I wish him all the well in Tennessee. With that being said, man, I mean, no, you can't put that type of expectations on this kid immediately. I mean, is he gonna have a good year? Yes. But it took Julio a while to, what I'm saying, become the receiver that he was. It just wasn't an overnight thing. Julio Jones did some great things his rookie year, but you gotta remember, he had somebody on the other side of him that taught him how to be a professional. That was Roddy White. So I think that whatever the fans' expectation, and we talk about this with this podcast, Banks. This is what we do. We talk about this as fans, right? A lot of times as fans, some fans have these grandioso expectations, but when you really look at the scheme of things, man, you want somebody that's going to come out and produce, right? At the end of the day, it takes 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense. Banks, you and I both know, man, we want him to come out and be productive. That's all I want him to do. I want him to come out be a productive part of this offense, man. He ain't got to put up monster numbers. Like I told you, going back to what I said earlier, man, if he's doing his job, defense is focusing on him. We putting safeties out there. We trying to find a cornerback that can make cover this guy. We making all kind of mismatches. Then that means somebody else on this team is possibly going to eat, and that's what I want to see. I'm not putting any expectations on this kid, man, and I know you're not going to put any expectations on him his rookie year. But I'm looking for him to have a decent, rookie year with that being said, excuse me. So look, man, Banks, preseason over, done with. I want to ask you a quick question, man. Preseason, overrated, underrated, man. Is it an overrated experience or is it an underrated experience, man? I think you kind of alluded to how you felt about preseason, but is this really necessary, or is this just a formality that we just got to go through and see? What's it all about with preseason, brother?
I don't think it's underrated or overrated. I think it's much needed for certain teams. Coming into a long off season for every team in the league. Okay, you go through OTAs, you go through the draft, the free agency period, and training camp, and then you just itching to have some kind of contact, some kind of football. And that week one in preseason, it's like it's sort of a big deal. It's like, finally we got some football. But then once you start seeing it and realizing how a drag it is, and the reserves come in and they stink it up, whatever, you're like, Okay, and I whatever. Let's bring on week one. So
So
in
let me ask you this.
preseason,
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. From a win-loss perspective, from a win-loss perspective, does it matter? Because I hear people say this all the time. I get when you suit up and you go out there and play, you want to win, right? But at the end of the day, when preseason is over with, man, does it even really? Does it matter that you won a preseason game?
it doesn't matter.
That you were the preseason champion?
This doesn't matter. Listen, 2008, Detroit went 4-0 in preseason, and then that year they went 0-16.
Oh, and
Listen,
16.
it doesn't matter what you do in preseason. Now, as a fan, you want your team to win at all time. They put that, like you said, they pads on. You watching a Falcons game, and you like, okay, they win. It gives you some kind of a good feeling, but they lose. I mean, who cares? I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, let me tell you something. I've known Falcons to have a great preseason, and they look like total doo doo in the regular
Trash.
season. So it doesn't
I want to
matter.
say
Okay, it
I
doesn't
want to
matter.
say going back to the '98 Super Bowl run, man. If I'm not mistaken, man, this preseason did not look the greatest, and we end up going 14-2. And not to go off track a little bit, Banks, though, man. I think as Falcons fans, man, we fail to appreciate because this franchise has been around for a long time, man. But going back to that season, I'm just speaking about this, and then we'll move on. That team that went 14-2, man, that was a great feat for any NFL team in the history of the NFL, man. That hadn't been done that many times in the league. Even though we missed the mark and didn't win the Super Bowl, man, 14-2, bro. That was an amazing season, and how all that just came together. And I think sometimes as Falcons fans, we don't stop to appreciate some of the things that this team has done and accomplished. Yes, we don't have any Super Bowls, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, if you've been a Falcons fan all your life, like I have, man, we have accomplished a few things, man, that a lot of NFL teams haven't even gotten close to. And yes, the measure of success is Lombardi trophies and how many that you have in the case. But these Falcons have done a few special things over the course of history, man. So we're gonna move forward, man. Banks, we'll come back. That's another day. We'll talk about that on a later episode of the podcast, man. We'll talk about some more Falcons history. So look, check this out. 53 man is set. 53 man roster is set. I don't think it was any big surprises. Anything that I think today before we got on air, Quadre Olison, a running back that we drafted a couple of seasons ago, he got cut. We signed another running back, man. But were there any surprises to you on this 53 man roster adjustment, man, after the preseason? I don't think there was, man.
Absolutely not. I mean, everyone that I thought would make the team made the team. Only person that I had my eyes on closely that was a possible bubble guy was probably the kid Darby. He made the squad, but
He made the
it
squad.
was a possibility that he wasn't. But good for the kid. He made it. So there was nobody on the roster. I took a look at it, and nothing stood out at me. So was it status quo? Let's roll.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we got to realize, man, if you follow football, the 53 man roster means a lot, right, Banks? But when you look at the grand scheme of things, man, if you don't know a lot about the NFL, the 53 man roster is an active roster, right? It's an active roster that you roll into the regular season. But what a lot of people don't understand is that on game day, 53 guys don't dress out. This the 53 man roster is composed of active guys that can, play, given, any given situation. So, most of the time, a lot of people don't know this, man. They're only maybe about 44 to 42 guys that actually dress out on Sunday. But you keep an active 53 man roster, and you have certain guys in certain positions that might be able to come up or be able to do whatever they needs to do during the course of the season, right? So 53 man roster is set. So here's the thing I want to talk about. Got a 53 man roster, no surprises there, but we do have three quarterbacks on the 53 man active roster, right? Now, with that being said, we all know who QB1 is. Here we
Okay.
go, Banks. We got two quarterbacks right now fighting for the backup position because we know we're not going to dress three quarterbacks on the 12th. September the
Right,
12th, we're not dressing three
right,
quarterbacks.
right.
So AJ McCarron started the season with the Falcons in the first preseason game, quarterback from Alabama. He was slated to be the QB2, the number 2 quarterback. He goes down, I want to say second preseason game, tears his ACL, right? Enter Felipe Franks. Now, Felipe Franks played all 3 preseason games, and I think there was a lot of fanfare with him because he did some special things. We'll get into that in just a moment, Banks, because I know you want to talk about that. But we signed a guy by the name of Josh Rosen. That name sounds familiar because Josh Rosen was a pretty high draft pick and highly touted coming out a couple of years ago. And now he's been a journeyman, I want to say 3-4 years in the league. So we signed him now. And there's kind of a little quarterback controversy going on at the number 2 spot. Now, we all know it's not a secret, man. Something happens to QB1, man. We kind of up the creek without a paddle. But in this QB2 situation, how do you feel about this QB2 situation, and where do you see us going with actually the backup that's going to be on Sunday, September the 12th, when we play the Eagles?
It's going to be Josh Rosen. I mean, it's just no doubt about it. I mean, listen, Felipe Franks is an undrafted free agent, okay? He did one special run and people lost their mind, okay? Now, the kid is learning a grown man's game coming from college, okay? Give this kid some time to learn the speed of the game. He'll be fine. Is he a backup? No, he's not. You know, I think people got so caught up under that 50-some plus yard run, they don't know, they don't realize that you got to do other things as a quarterback besides run. You got to manage the team. You got to command the huddle. You got to actually throw the ball to your team, not the opposite team. So, you know, I look at it, you know, Felipe Franks, okay, yeah, I see it in him, but he's not ready yet. Josh Rosen he's going to get it on default. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a big fan of Rosen either, but he did look more, it was more fluid. The offense moved a little bit better with him, if that makes sense. That's all I got from him. You know, coming in, you know, but like you said it best. Something happens to QB1, we're done. No matter who's at QB2, we're done. It's over. Pack up ship. Let's see you next draft.
I mean, you know, for what it's worth, man, I think Felipe Franks, you know, like you said, with the 56-yard runs, with the flashes of athleticism, you know, and this is a topic of conversation for a later date, man. Our fan base, you know, really did see. I don't know what they saw. You know, maybe like you said, Banks. You know, they look. You know, these flashes remind them of somebody else. I don't know who they think it reminds them of, but you know, hey, we were both at the first preseason game when he did make that run, and the crowd just, you know, he electrified the crowd with that run. And you know, I think fan favorite. Dude, literally, I've actually heard some people say that they were going to go out and buy Felipe Franks Falcons jerseys. You know, for what it's worth. So, you know, I don't know, man. We'll see how this works out. I think Felipe Franks, in my opinion, I'm with you, Banks. He will end up on the practice squad, and we will see Josh Rosen as QB2 come the 12th of September. But he gained some fans here in Atlanta by the little flashes that he had and what he did. Yeah, there was some other circumstances surrounding, you know, his starts in the preseason that you really couldn't assess what he really can do. Because I mean, when you're out there with the second and third string offensive line, and you out there with the second and third string receivers, it's kind of hard to assess what he could actually do. But you know, he's gained a fan following here in Atlanta, that's for sure.
Um, I guess, dude. Listen, I don't want to badmouth the kid because he's a Falcon now, but you know, watching him in college, you know, he started up in Florida. Didn't care for him then. I didn't care for him in Arkansas. And now he's here. I mean, let's just see what he can do. But for him to have this big following now all of a sudden because of that one run, and all of a sudden now he can take Matt Ryan's position. Really? Okay.
No, okay,
Sure.
now
No,
I
but
didn't
that's
say
been
that.
said.
I didn't say
It's been said. It's been said, brother. It's been said. It's been said. I kid you not. I
that.
swear it's been said. If I'm lying, I'm flying.
Oh my,
It's been
oh man.
said.
See, this is when we really missing Derico right now because we really need to get he would swear, oh, nobody's saying that, no, nobody's saying he can take me around, yeah, whatever, we've seen it with our own eyes, message boards, social media, it is what it is. So look, man, we're gonna kind of move off of the NFL for a minute, man, and talk about something else in just a second. But Banks, before we move into it, I'm gonna get a couple. I'm gonna hit you with some stuff that I didn't actually put in the outline and we'll move on. So, well, the first thing is I did get so give me where do you feel most confident with this squad moving into this season? What position do you feel the most confident with moving into this season, and what position
Ooh.
do you feel the most worried about going into the season?
Ooh. Boy, let me think about this one. What position I feel more comfortable about?
The most confident about
Confident
going into
about.
this season. I mean, like,
Wow.
what do you feel like we got a strong linebacking core? Do you feel like our quarterback is the strongest asset? What do you feel is our strongest asset
Okay.
positionally on this team?
Let me
It
let
has to
me
be something.
yeah, let me dissect this a little bit. I mean, if it would have to be a position that I'm confident about, it will probably have to be the quarterback position. Only starter, not backup, not as a whole. Now, if you're talking about a position as a whole,
I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. If you say just,
ooh,
you're fine with QB1, if you're fine with Matt
yeah,
Ryan,
yeah,
and that's where your
I'm
confidence
fine.
lies,
That's the
then that's
only
okay.
thing that I know that we can probably get consistency. You know, from week 1 to week 17 or week 18, whatever it is. The one I have my least concern, my least confidence in, unfortunately, is the defensive line. Um, I gave up trying to have hope for this squad, bro. At this point now, as a fan, I'm like, whatever you do and you do well, it's all gravy. At this point, just do it. I'm not going to hold out hope on, they're going to get these many sacks and all this. Okay, whatever. Just do what you do, bro. I don't really. I mean, whatever. I really have no interest of trying to hope for this squad anymore. I really don't. It's been years and me begging and
Wait, wait,
pleading,
wait, wait,
please.
wait, 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 wait. So, wait a minute. Let's stop for just a second, man. Um, are we talking about the team in general, or are you just talking about the defensive line? What are you
Defensive
talking about?
line. Defensive line. Let me tell you something. I've been hoping for a defensive line ever since Rod Coleman left and Patrick Hurney. And you know how long that was, okay? I have it. Oh well, Abrams,
John Abraham, yeah,
Abraham.
John Abraham.
But that even with him, he wasn't there consistently on the field. It's like he had injuries, he had that growing, and it's like okay, and it's like after that, we've been really, really like sitting on the edge of a cliff trying to hope for that unicorn to come up and just give us something. I mean, we were happy that a guy had 7 sacks. 7. And we were ecstatic as a fan base. If that's our if that's our happy place, then we have been abused as a fan base. Abused. Because we
I
can
mean,
do much better than that.
yeah. I mean, I will say that much, man. Yeah, we have lacked a lot of talent in the defensive line when it comes to the grand scheme of things, man. But I'm not going to go out here and talk about other teams, man. But I think some teams with good defenses, man, it's been a core. It's hard to find those, JJ Watt type players, those, um, it's hard to find those guys, man. Like everybody doesn't have one of those guys. I think for the most part, man, when you look at a lot of the better defenses in the league, I mean, it's like pressure by committee. You have several guys that can pressure on the quarterback, and they get to the quarterback consistently, man. That whole front does, man. But it's only a few guys around the league that are just doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that yes, we missed the mark at finding a consistent four down lineman that can actually get back there. I mean,
I
because
mean,
all 31 teams in this league don't have a dog at defensive end, man. It's only a couple of guys
I don't,
that you can name off the top of your head.
I'm not even asking you to be a dog. Just be consistent. We have teams I can count on top of my head that has a decent pass rush. They're not even big names. I'm not asking you to get a J.J. Watts or Aaron Donald. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for someone to be consistent. Hell, give me
I mean,
8
we got
sacks
a guy that's
every.
we got a guy that's we the problem is we have a guy that's very consistent on the defensive line, but he's the only one.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Grady
Like,
Jarrett is the only guy
he's
that's
the
consistent
only
and
one
gets a
that's
lot of push.
really getting anything. He bring his lunch pail to work every week. And we're constantly going through this carousel of different pass defensive ends or anybody next to Grady Jarrett to give us something, and we always strike out. We whiff the whole all the time. We whiff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what we're gonna get out of Dante. I mean, I listen. Last year, he disappointed me.
He
But
ran his mouth a lot.
yeah, and like I said, this year I have no expectations. Like I said, do what you do, bro. If you suck, you
All right.
suck. So
All right. So for me, I'm gonna give it to you straight up, man. I think the most surprising position that I have a lot of confidence with in this. I mean, yes, QB1 is great, but I think surprisingly, man, our receiving core is pretty good. I absolutely, even with the loss of Julio Jones, I actually think that this receiving core that we have, some of these young guys like Russell Gage and Alameda Zaccheaus, I think they're gonna be pretty decent for us. I mean, Calvin really has really pushed to be, the guy, the number one guy here. And I think that, this dude has a lot of jiggle. He can get open. I think he's going to be a very, very good wide receiver for us. And I think surprisingly, in my opinion, I'm not worried about the wide receiving core. Even after losing JJ11, I think that this wide receiving core is going to be okay, man. If you can keep Matt clean, I think that these guys will get open and get him the ball. Now, with that being said, this is sad. I'm worried about the offensive line. Defensive line, yeah, there are some concerns, but my biggest concern is the offensive line, man. This is, whew, man, this, there are a lot of question marks here on this offensive line, man. We got, we know who our left tackle is. We know who our right and left guard. We know who our right tackle is and our right guard is. We don't know who our left guard is, and we don't know what we're gonna get out of the center that's gonna start. We were lucky to have a Pro Bowl center over the last, 3 or 4 years. He's gone now. Now we got, Matt Hennessy, who we drafted a couple of years ago, who's going to be starting at center. And this is what happens with the Falcons here over the last 3 or 4 years. We come out of preseason going into the regular season with question marks with this offensive line. Now yes, you are absolutely right about the question marks with the defensive line, Banks, but dude, this O line, man, I don't know what I'm gonna get out of this O line. I don't, and I know what I'm gonna get out of Jake Matthews. I know what I'm gonna get out of Chris Lindstrom. I think those are the two most solid people that we have on this offensive line. And unfortunately, it's three other guys out there that's gonna have to show up every Sunday too. They can't do it all. So that's what I'm nervous about, man. I'm nervous about this offensive line because that's going to be the key as to whether or not we'll be able to be successful offensively. We have the tools to be successful offensively, but we talk about this all the time. It's one in the trenches. Can we keep Matt upright? Can we run this football? And that's where I don't have. That's where my concern is, and we're gonna see right out the gate September 12th how these guys hold up, man. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that I'm dead wrong. I'm hoping that these guys are gonna step up to the challenge and be able to do the damn thing, man. But it's dicey. It's dicey right now. I think a couple of days ago we had one of the guys that was slated to be in the rotation on offensive line. He broke his wrist or broke his hand. I'm not too certain on that. We had to sign the guy off waivers. So that's where I am with that, man. So really, really quickly, Banks, man, before we move into the next topic, man, because we're moving right along tonight, man, I'm gonna throw some stuff at you. I'm gonna throw a couple of darts at you real quick because I wanted to get you fresh. I didn't want you to do any research. I wanted to hit you fresh and hit you with these questions really, really quickly, man. And get you to give me a spot on answer, right? Quick spot on answer. I don't want you to think about it, man. I just want you to go right off the top of your dome and give me your answer as soon as I give you the question, right? Moving into the NFL season. First thing I got to ask you is who is the most overrated team going into this NFL season coming up here? Go.
the most overrated teams got to be Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, I
That's
mean,
every
yeah,
year
I
then. That's
mean,
every
But it's the
That's every
same old.
year.
I mean, it's what can Dallas do to win the division? I mean, it's yeah,
That's America's. That's America's. Hey man, that's America's
whatever.
team
They
though. That's
ain't my
America's
team.
team.
They ain't my team. Whatever.
That's America's team. Everybody is concerned about what the Dallas Cowboys is going to do.
I guess, bro. I
So,
guess.
yeah.
And
And it's
I
funny,
guess,
man, because
and
I was.
I guess let me say this. I guess that was kind of too easy. Um, if you want me to really like lay out a team that's kind of overrated, and I can throw a team out there that could be a little shock value of it all. I'm going to say New England. I'm gonna say New
Okay.
England. New England's
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
on the overrated train, man. I think we saw firsthand after when the goat left and he went to another team and won a Super Bowl, and it left New England in shambles. You know, we kind of knew what ran that train. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I think
Yeah.
the whole thing that's still keeping everyone is Belichick. It's Belichick. It's Belichick. You know, okay. Well, let's see what he does now. You know,
I
he
mean, we'll
has a
see.
brand new quarterback, and
We'll see, man. We go back to consistent ball. You got Mac Jones there now, who's gonna start at quarterback, man. Cam Newton cut. Mac Jones is gonna start as a rookie. I mean, if you go back to basic New England football, man, we don't make mistakes. We run the football. We go with the short intermediate passing game, man. I mean, hell, I don't know. They might get back to glory. Because I mean, let's be real about it, man. Not going too far off topic, man. There was nothing special about New England. I mean, they won a bunch of Super Bowls by being mistake free, running the ball very, very well, and to be honest, letting other teams find ways to beat themselves. As much as it pains me to say that, New England was very, very good at doing what they did well, running the football, doing what they did, and then other teams will find ways to beat themselves playing them. Man, they played mistake-free football, man, and had a very good running game, very good defense. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. So I don't know. Maybe they get back to that. Maybe Mac Jones can play consistently enough for them to get back to those Super Bowl days, man. I don't know. You lost Tom. A lot of things happened. Cam Newton happened. So we'll see. We'll go in here. So the next two questions I got before we move on to the next topic. Here we go, Banks. Saw a lot of rookie quarterbacks get drafted. We saw a lot of quarterbacks get drafted in this past draft. Okay. And I just alluded to one of them that's going to be started day one, which is Mac Jones. So all those quarterbacks that got drafted in the first round that we, talked about here on previous podcasts, who do you think has the best rookie year at quarterback for their team? Go. You on mute, man, by the way, so you need to take yourself
oh
off
my
mute.
bad. I'm sorry. It's Trey Lance, 49ers.
Okay. Trey Lance
Yeah.
49ers. I'm going back to my first I'm going back to Mac Jones. I was an advocate for Mac Jones, and it wasn't a popular choice. But now that I think about it, and now that I see what's going on in New England, I'm going to say Mac Jones is probably going to have the best rookie season out of all the rookie quarterbacks that were drafted. We know that Trevor Lawrence is going to start probably in Jacksonville. We know that Mac Jones is not going to start in New England. Um, I'm pretty sure Zach Wilson is going to start with the Jets. But out of all those guys, Justin Fields, I think he might have to come. I think by week 2, Justin Fields will probably be starting. I don't know how the Andy Dalton experiment is going to work up 10 with the Red Rifle in Chicago, but I think Justin Fields is going to end up coming off the bench before week 6. I think we're going to see Justin Fields up there in Chicago. But with that being said, I think Mac Jones is in a prime position. And the reason I say this is, let me say this: I'm not saying that he's more athletic than any of these other guys. I'm not saying that he's better than any of these other guys, but you got to look at the situation that he's in New England with Bill Belichick and how they run their organization. I think that he's in a prime position to have a great season in New England. I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to go to AFC Championship or none of that, but I'm just saying I think he's going to have a decent season, and New England is going to be very, very competitive just based on the fact of where he is and where he ended up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's in a good spot, with the philosophy that New England runs. Do your job, all that, blah blah blah. He's in a good spot. So I like Mac Jones there. I really love Trey Lance under Shanahan. I think he's going to give the best out of him.
Is he
Um,
starting though? Week one? Is he starting
yeah,
week one? Do we know?
he's gonna start week one. There's no way you're
Okay.
gonna put Garoppolo out there when you know Trey Lance did what he did, coming out of preseason. Yeah, you got to play him. And going back to Justin Fields, there's no way Andy Dalton starting week one. Justin Fields is going to start week one. All the
Okay.
rookies going to start week one. That's my
Okay.
prediction.
So okay. All right. All the rookies starting week one. Okay. So check it out, man. We're gonna move on a little bit, man. Talk a little bit about something else. We done spend a little time talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Really didn't get into talking about anything else other than the couple of questions that I threw at you, right? The couple of darts I threw at you. So now, really quickly, man, before we end this podcast, brother, we're gonna talk about the other home team here, man. That's been doing some things, and that's Atlanta United, man. Shout out to Atlanta United, man. New coach, who it is. Pineda comes in from Seattle, got a new coach, if you didn't know. But before he even got hired, Atlanta United started doing some things, Banks, man. They went on the tear. I think won like 4 games in a row there. It kind of put themselves in prime position, man, to get back into this thing, man, and make this a real nice go. Going back to the 7th of August, you go up to Columbus, you beat them, you beat LAFC at home, you beat Toronto, you beat DC. Then we came back, had a bad outing against Nashville. We're gonna last forever. We weren't gonna keep rolling, but we lost to Nashville. But we did get 4 in a row. Excuse me, 4 in a row, put us back, right there at the playoff line, if not over the playoff line. Banks, man, how are you feeling now about Atlanta United, brother? Because for a while there, man, we felt like then we lost the coach, new coach. Rob Valentino came in, started playing better, a little bit more form, better form, and now we're back in the conversation.
Ask me again in a couple of more matches, Leo. That last loss against Nashville kind of just it was a big bucket of water on my fire. So I can't I can't see, what I'm saying, you change your coach, you get this new guy coming in, and they not only lost, they lost bad, so I look at it like they have potential to turn it around. If they get their feet back under them, with this new coach, with his new philosophy. And for what I understand, this next match coming up, with Orlando is in Orlando.
It's
Joseph,
Orlando, yeah.
just Joseph's not playing, and again, here
Well,
we
it's a
go.
lot.
I
Well, so
mean,
let me really quickly. Well, really quickly, we got several players called up for international duty. That's not our fault. Joseph got called up, Miles Robinson, and so did George Bello. Shout out to them. As we record this episode tonight, Joseph is playing for Venezuela, FIFA World Cup time qualifiers, and also George Bello and Miles Robinson are start. Miles Robinson should get a start for the United States tonight against El Salvador, and George Bello should probably get some PT with the United States men's national team as they take them on. A really big shout out. And before we get really a little more into Atlanta United, I got to give a big shout out to Miles Robinson, man, and what he's been doing on the international side of things, man. Banks, we've seen this guy ball out for Atlanta United since he's been here, but now he's getting some national stage attention. And for what it's worth, Gold Cup, he gets the game-winning score to beat Mexico, not once but twice. The United States beat Mexico twice this summer, which says something, man, because that's a nasty international rivalry between us and El Trey. And Miles Robinson came up huge. He is really making a name for himself, man. And I'm proud that this guy plays for Atlanta United. How about Miles Robinson, man? Give it up for that dude.
love the kid, love him, love him, love him. I look at his the way he's coming through the league. He started off really slow. Now he's making his name for himself, and he's everyone's paying attention. Whenever, after a while, people talk about Atlanta United, the first thing they say was Joseph's team, is Joseph's team, which is true. You know, in the future, what I'm saying, hopefully, a transition. A lot of people, United fans, are probably don't want to hear this. But if we move on, the day that we have to move on from Joseph, man, maybe Miles Robinson can be our new face. And he is heading that direction. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Miles Robinson, man. Him and George Bello, man. And we'll come back. Hopefully, we'll get my man Reggie to come on, man, and we'll do a whole nother soccer podcast and talk about some things that are going on, especially in international soccer right now. Some exciting times, man. On the international scene when it was soccer, we got the FIFA World Cup qualifiers coming up here. Like I said, I'm about to tune in tonight, Banks. I will tell you to fire it up tonight, man, and check it out, man. It's gonna be a good to watch the U.S. men's national team and see how they run that. But yeah, man. So letting you know, I think that we're in a good position, man. New coach Gonzalo Pineda. I think that was a good hire. I think that he comes into a good situation. He comes from a good lineage and a good group up there in Seattle. He came from the Seattle Sounders. They have been a good team. They've won some championships. They have some championships under their belt. This guy is an international player, played for national teams in Mexico, and I think he has some good lineage. I haven't really, done a lot of research on this guy, but I think he's gonna be a good fit for us here in Atlanta. And I think that with what Valentino was able to do interim and then him coming in, and I'm pretty sure they'll both feed off each other and continue to work the systems um, that are going to put guys in good position. We've seen guys like, Moreno come in and he's starting to look good now. Let me tell you, the biggest surprise for me, Banks, and I don't know if you've watched a lot of the last couple of games is, man, we've been asking a lot of Barco since he's gotten here, man, as that 19-year-old kid that came here fresh out of Argentina with a lot on his shoulders. But, man, Barco is starting to come into form, man. At first I said, man, this was a mistake paying this guy all this money, a 19-year-old kid coming in. But now I'm starting to see Barco actually, you know, do the things that we wanted to see him do initially, man. So is this now Barco's coming out party and him coming into the player that we thought that he was going to be initially when he got here?
Man, I absolutely hope so, man. Like I was really being impatient on waiting on him. I know that's kind of unfair to him. He's being so young, he had to fit into his role. Um, Barco to me seems like someone told him to play your game. Like someone like really like took him to the side and just start talking to him like, look, what are you holding back for? And it seemed like it happened overnight and you seen a different guy. And it's like, where did this Barco come from? Like all of a sudden, I don't remember the match it was, but he just went slap off. Like, where in the world did you
Yeah.
come from? You know, so it's hopefully it's a progression. Maybe he gets better even by next season. Maybe he'll be even better. Hopefully.
Yeah. We shall see, man. Atlanta United, man. I'm hoping they'll be able to make a good run here, man, and make a push, man, and get us back to where we need to be. It's been long. Like 2020 season was long. This starting out with this season was there was a little hesitancy and then everything that happened with getting rid of Gabriel Heinze. Mid season, how that all panned out. Go ahead, Banks.
All I just wanted to ask you, man, is going into with this new head coach, that what do you see in Atlanta United? Do you see a playoff run? And if you do see a playoff run,
Uh,
how far do you think they can go?
it's hard to tell right now because Pineda just came in, so got to shout out to Rob Valentino for coming in as interim coach and doing it because you got to remember everything that happened was Rob. You know what I'm saying during that stretch of games. Once Gonzalo Pineda was hired, there were a couple of he was hired and then I think he was COVID protocols. He couldn't coach and then we just saw him at the helm of this team for that last game against Nashville, man. So I think with having Valentino on the coaching staff and them being able to kind of, that's a good thing for Pineda to have. He knows he has Valentino to lean on and say, hey, okay, you had these guys, what's working, what's not. And then for him to be able to gradually implement what he wants to do and have this team take shape and form as he would have them, but he has somebody to lean on. So I think that's a good thing for him, man. Where do I think this Atlanta United team goes? I think this team, if they can start to get click, if they can get clicking, and obviously this is a World Cup year, we're gonna lose players for qualifiers and things of that nature. But if you can just hang on, we know this happens with every sport, Banks. If you can hang on and get yourself above that playoff line, man, they got as good a chance as anybody in the East. Don't get me wrong, you got the Phillies of the world, you got the Nashvilles of the world that look really, really good here in the East. They do. But I think that the Columbus is they're not going to go away. Even though Columbus, as of late, they haven't really been playing at a high level. I think they've been doing decent here, man. But hang around, get to the playoffs, man, and that's a whole new life. It's a whole new season. So that's what we just trying to do. You hang on, get yourself into the dance, man, and we'll go from there. And we'll have that conversation once they get into the dance and see how hot they are moving in that way, down the stretch here into October. So look, Banks, man, we are at the end of the mark, man. We've had a good show tonight, man. Coming back, it's been a minute. Got a chance to knock the rust off, brother. So as always, man, it's always good to have you on the show. Definitely as a permanent fixture. Let everybody know where they can get at you, brother.
You can find me at and I'm sorry, I'm losing my Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook, or you can find me at Baby Banks 80 on the Instagram. Now I'm having issues with my Twitter, so I'm resulting back to Instagram. So
Are you still? Do you need a social media assistant or
I'm
something? Are you
still
still
waiting.
hiring for
I'm
a social
still
media assistant?
waiting on that person to come and help me. I mean, I'm still waiting. Until then, I'm gonna have to just keep it down to two: Instagram and
Okay, all right.
Facebook.
So ain't no Snapchat, no
No,
TikTok, none of
sir.
that. Just
No,
it's.
sir. No, sir. No,
Oh
sir.
man. Okay, so check it out, man. You can always find the show on Twitter, man. It's at the Leo G Show, the number one, at the Leo G Show, the number one. Also, you can find us on Facebook if you're still there. It's the Leo G Show. You can also get at me at my own personal Twitter account. That's at Southern Set with two T's, at Southern Set with two T's. We always like talking sports. We always talking about that OG Atlanta stuff, man, for real. Banks, I got some stuff in the works here, man, for some upcoming podcasts, man, to talk about some real OG Atlanta stuff as we move into the Atlanta season, the Atlanta Falcons season coming up. Because September 12th, if you didn't know, the Falcons are having a pregame pep rally party, whatever. Couple of old school Atlanta artists are gonna be performing. Pastor Troy, my boy, shout out to my boy Troy, big boy from Outkast is gonna be there, man. So want to start talking about a little OG Atlanta stuff, man, and how it all kind of implements into the whole sports theme of the show. So be on the lookout for us to talk about that, man. Also, we want to shout out to my boy Derrico, who wasn't able to make it, man. Hopefully he'll be back for the next episode. And always shout out to my man Jay. He's always an honorary member of the Leo G Show, man. But from going forward, man, it's Banks, Derrico, and Leo G, man. That's how we gonna rock with it. That's how we gonna roll with it, brother.
Sounds good to me, brother. And then let me get something in before you go off air, brother. September 12th, Philadelphia Eagles. Give me your prediction, sir. I need to hear it.
You want a prediction? Okay, you dead serious too. Look, he got a serious face on. He like, yeah, okay, man. All right. We're gonna go ahead and do it, man. September 12th, Atlanta, Georgia, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, 1:00. Atlanta Falcons 24, Philadelphia Eagles 17.
Sounds good.
So what you got, man? Good. So give me your prediction. First game of the season coming up, man. Let's go. Give me your prediction.
Been thinking about it. Don't really got a good grasp on this team. I'm going to say it's going to be a high scoring because I don't think our defense is going to stop anybody off the rip, in the beginning. I'm going to say it's going to be like a 34-31 and final in overtime. I think it's going to go overtime, and I think we're going to win somehow, some way with a field goal after they turned the ball over in overtime.
Okay, Young Way Cool action.
Yeah,
field goal to win it.
Yeah,
shout out my man Young Way Cool, man.
That's my prediction, and shout out also to Atlanta Hawks for signing Clint Capella to his 2-year.
Oh yes, sir.
Was it $46 million extension?
Oh hell yeah, that man got paid. Also, hey, look, also Banks. Before we get out of here, man, shout out to the NBA for putting some respect on the Hawks name and giving us these nationally televised games because we deserve it. We playing on Christmas. You heard me. We playing on Christmas. Hawks ain't played on Christmas in 30 years, but we playing on Christmas this year, damn it. Going up to the Garden. So all you Knicks fans, get ready to get mad on Christmas Day when Trey come up there and do the same thing he did to y'all in the playoffs. Christmas Day, man.
Trey is coming to town.
Oh yeah.
Trey is coming to town. But listen,
Oh my God, man.
shout out to the Hawks, man. They playing on MLK as well on the primetime,
Excellent.
like the primetime
Prime
game.
time matchup on
So
MLK. Shout out to that.
good showing for the Hawks. Big shout out to them.
Maybe I can get my MLK jersey by then.
Listen, they going with a whole nother jersey next year. You might as well give that
I
up,
know,
brother.
man. I know.
The Braves took one on the chin against the Dodgers. They got swept out the city. They going up to Colorado tonight. Much luck to you guys. Keep that first place, please. Don't give it away to Philadelphia.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away, man. All right. So look, we'll be back with another edition of the Leo G Show, man. We're gonna continue to ride with this, man. We appreciate all the support, man. We're gonna be out.